2.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to be going on about a movie that was brought to our attention by our good friend Boris here, who's still clicking away. Well, I hear your keys as loud as cleats.
Really? Okay, do you still hear it?
No longer, but why don't you go ahead and tell us what film you subjected us to today?
So today I chose yet another movie that people probably didn't see coming from me, since I usually go for horror movies. This time I chose a movie called Silent Life, The Story of the Lady in Black, directed by Vladislav Alex Kozlov, written by Ksenia Yarova, Natalia Dar Kozlov, and Vladislav Alex Kozlov, and starring Terry Moore, Isabella Rossellini, and Cheryl Fenn.
Well, Cheryl and Fenn, I happen to know from an on-stage production of the Taming of the Shrew from back in the day. But other than that, I think there might have been one other name that I noticed per se. But yeah. Much of this movie, I believe, was it went back and forth between black and white. Correct?
Yeah, some parts were black and white, but I actually don't know if they were filmed that way or edited that way. This movie was actually very difficult to find in English without being dubbed in Russian. And the information about it is also very scarce. All I can say is it's made to look as if it was almost some sort of documentary, as if everything they say in the movie
It's a biopic.
Like what?
Like it's a biopic, like a biographical drama.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be, but the truth is not quite everything that was said in this movie is true. Yeah. So, do you know the reason why I chose this movie in the first place?
I suspect it has something to do with the song that you've been deeply trying to rediscover the origins of its path.
Yes, there is a connection to that song, but how exactly did you know that?
It was a pure guess because it has to do with a kind of a lady in black, so to speak, a bride in black, according to the song. But
so yeah, the reason why I chose this movie, I may have mentioned this 3 weeks ago when we were doing Boomerang, which was also my pick. I have recently, been quite fascinated with this classic country song, "The Long Black Veil." And one thing I found especially interesting to research about that song are the sources of inspiration behind the lyrics. So the songwriter Danny Dill said in multiple interviews that he had three main sources of inspiration behind the song. One was a pre-existing folk song called "God Walks These Hills with Me." One was an old newspaper report about the unsolved murder of a priest. So that was so. I was doing research and trying to figure out which exact unsolved murder it was, and I found one that I wasn't entirely sure, but seemed very likely to be the one. And there was this movie based on that case called Boomerang, which is what I picked last time. It was my turn. But the third source of inspiration was this urban legend about a mysterious woman in a black veil who was visiting the grave of the actor Rudolph Valentino every year on his birthday and leaving a red rose on his grave. So around the same time when I found out about the movie Boomerang, I also found out that there was a movie based on Rudolph Valentino's Lady in Black, and it was this movie. So I was interested in doing this movie as well. But for starters, like I said, although I did find this movie quite interesting, not everything they said in it was true, and that's especially about the identity of the lady in black and the story of her connection to Valentino. I don't know if what they said about it in this movie is some sort of misconception or if they were just taking liberties, but the real story of the lady in black is much different from what this movie said. But okay, we will get into that later. Uh, so let's see what IMDb says about the movie. The mysterious lady in black, claiming to be the last love of the first screen sex symbol Rudolph Valentino, dies in her Hollywood apartment. The only contact the detective finds is the business card of the young filmmaker Paul Hartz. Uh, Okay, this is a strange synopsis. I don't really remember a detective being involved here. But okay. Was this the first time you guys saw this movie, and what were your first impressions? Okay, ladies first. Let's hear Tammy.
Yeah, it was my first time. I actually found it interesting, 'cause David always teases about some of the crime stuff that I watch, as being biographies or documentaries or things like that, and I found it really interesting, because, showing his life and everything, because, we're under the impression that she knew him, so we're under the impression for most of the movie that, you know, like I said, that she knew him. So it's like her telling the story, Um,
Yes.
so yeah, I found it quite interesting, just because of of what it was and everything, and the time that it was, and there was like a time when film and stuff was basically starting out, because it was silent, it's just I think David made a comment that he thought it was kind of independent, but if that is true, I think they spent their money wisely on it. To come up with the cars from that era and the costumes from that era, the scenery and everything. So if it basically is this is an independent, I think they did spend their money wisely on it, and that made it actually more enjoyable to watch. It didn't seem like they just threw this and this and this together and hoped that it turned out. It seemed like whoever did this took their time, and that's what made it interesting.
Oh yes, I do agree. Now, whether it is independent or not, I really don't know because, like I said, I found out that the movie exists, and it took a little bit of effort to even find it in English anywhere online, and some more detailed information about it. I actually wasn't researching that much, but yeah, it seems very difficult to find.
Well, I was curious as to how English it would be myself. Uh, so I figured you were going to go with me next, so I might as well go ahead. I fully believe that this is an independent production because the camera people and the person who's doing the interview, you can tell that this might have actually been like their first acting job because God, uh, they were definitely showing their green thumbs. But I guess
But in a
the
way that
idea.
made it, in the way I think that made it better because it kind of made them more or less look like they were nervous in front of the lady.
Well,
You
the
know,
one guy, the one camera dude, he totally bowed out because he didn't believe the story. At the end of the day, he thought she was a kook. And that cameraman was the only one that I thought that actually had any acting chops. At all. But I do want to say this: when they went back to the era of Rudolph Valentino, they got the cars right, they got the clothes right. So I think that was pretty darn good as far as that. I do
I
like
think
the
they
black
got
and
the
white.
background pretty right too.
Yeah, I do think they got the background pretty good too. I do like it when I see a film in black and white, even if it's partial. So I do appreciate that because when they went in color, it went back to Rudolph Valentino's day. And I do have to say something. Since you did find an English dub, having it have an English dub is rare because most countries are unable to pay for that at all, to have English actors voice out the actors and actresses, unless
Uh,
it's they had Russian actors and English actors, because to have an actual dub, it means money. Means money was put into it, because
well,
otherwise we would have just got a subtitled adventure.
I'm actually not sure. Are you sure that this movie was dubbed to English? I think it was. I think
It
it
was
was shot
it
in
was
English.
you think it was shot in English and then dubbed in Russian,
Well, that's the impression I got.
or
Okay,
you
I'm
think
not too.
you think it was you think it was shot in English and then subbed in Russian?
And shot in English and dubbed in Russian. At
Oh, it
least
was.
I think so.
Well,
I'm not
that's
100.
double. That's double dub. That's a double dub, which means there was money involved.
Yeah, I mean the actors are Terry Moore, Isabella Rossellini, Sherilyn Fenn, Franco Nero, Paul Rodriguez, Monte Markham. Those are not Russian names. And I'm not 100% sure, but as far as I could see, the audio was, at least to me, it seemed pretty much consistent with the actor's lips moving. So,
Did you watch the Russian dub at all?
no. It's included in the video file I shared
Well,
with
yeah,
you,
I
but
know, but you said you thought it was dubbed in Russian too.
Yes, because I know a Russian audio exists, but I got the impression that English is the original, even though the director is apparently Russian.
Okay, so um, there was definitely money involved having a Russian and English dub. If it was dub all the way, because dub is different than sub. Dubbing means that they were speaking in Russian and speaking in English on two separate tracks, which means there was money involved to me.
Either way,
uh,
I think whatever they had for a budget, I think they did well on. Using your money. And I know, David, you said that you thought a couple of the actors were kind of green. Yet, and they might have been, but I think in a way it added to it because, like I said, it kind of made them look like they were
Were
nervous about
nervous and authentic.
about doing the interview, with this
Yeah.
lady. So
uh,
I mean, at the end of the day, I thought the production was a little bit slow, but so is any independent feature that I've come across. The pacing is often slow, and I think it was slow for reasons, But I do think that what was filmed, there was goodness in it. There was there was a flow to it.
oh, yes.
Not that it was slow without reason. It was slow to so that it was able to show you the story that it was trying to portray.
Oh yes, I didn't mind the slowness. I okay. Sorry if I interrupted. You can finish.
No, I'm good. I was at the end of it. I was entertained. Let's just
Oh,
put it that way. It's not that it was good, entirely great, nor was it entirely bad. So I'm kind of neutral to it.
oh, fair enough. Personally, I did enjoy the movie, but my main issue with it is that it does not entirely stick to the facts. like I said, I'm not sure if they changed some things because they maybe didn't know some facts or because they were just taking some liberties. But there were things I knew before I started to watch the movie. So while I was watching it, I was like, this is not true, this is not true, and so on. But one thing I definitely have to give them credit for is the choice of the actor for Rudolph Valentino, who is actually the director himself. This Vladislav Kozlov guy, he actually physically resembles the real Rudolph Valentino quite a bit.
So the
I
guy who was doing the interview was the director, or the guy who was playing Valentino, the
the
young
guy who
Valentino.
the guy who played Valentino.
Oh, so the guy who walked into the theater and started watching the.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I just found that on IMDb. And okay, I don't really know the history behind this movie, but my guess is that maybe people kept telling him that he looks a lot like Rudolph Valentino, and that maybe that was what inspired him to start making movies that have to do with Valentino.
Okay.
Uh, So, yeah, I definitely found the movie interesting. The story they put together for it was interesting. Like I said, though, my only issue with it is that it's not entirely true, especially the story of the lady in black, which is the way they portrayed her in this movie is quite compelling and emotional, but it's not the true story, and that kind of bothers me. But okay. Uh, Now we should get into the plot, which might be a little challenging since we have all seen this movie only once and there is no summary on Wikipedia.
Well,
Uh,
did you want some help?
Possibly, or
Well,
uh, uh,
the film comes with kind of a wraparound in a sense, where apparently there. Now, I don't like paparazzi. Um, I think they can be good and they can be bad for people. And I know that Princess Diana died because of paparazzi chasing her down.
oh,
Uh,
that's why. Okay, I may have heard about it at some point, but I don't remember the details anymore.
yeah, uh, paparazzi that just wouldn't leave her alone, chased her and her driver, and I think there was someone else in her vehicle, and they all crashed, and I think the paparazzi died, and the driver died along with Princess D, and I think there was one guy who survived at the time. Do you remember, Tammy, when Princess Diana died?
Um, I thought the gentleman that she was with lived. If I
Yeah,
was, yeah, the driver died, and I don't remember for sure if the paparazzi did or not. But
I'm not sure either, but all I know is that
definitely the driver, and they she was alive at the scene, and then they took her to the hospital, and they did everything to try and save her, but they weren't able to.
yeah,
So
but Yeah.
I vaguely remember hearing some theories that she was actually murdered, that someone set the accident up, but I don't know if that was proven.
No. She was. Uh, she was being chased by the paparazzi. The paparazzi, uh, whoever it was, just wouldn't leave her alone and got too close, or something like that, and they all crashed. So that was it. That was her death. And
Huh.
it was huge. It changed a lot of things that newspaper people could do. From what I remember, there. I mean, there's only so much that. I mean,
They still hound people. I mean, when I'm not saying that okay, when Elvis died, you know, and then there was all these rumors, and there's still rumors to this day that he's still alive. Okay,
Ah,
and
yes.
but you know what? I wouldn't blame him if he really would have faked his death. I really wouldn't. He couldn't walk. He couldn't even walk on his at Graceland. He couldn't even walk around the yard at his own home without being pestered by the reporters and paparazzi. There was nowhere this man could actually ever go. Okay, so you know, I'm just saying. I don't believe he is alive. I don't, but I wouldn't have blamed him if he would have done it. Okay, just because the paparazzi has been so out of control, I could see where they could drive somebody to actually do that just to get away. Just say, I've had enough, you know?
there's even a movie called Paparazzi, which is really fucking good.
I've seen that movie. I think I told you about it.
Yeah, that can show you the exact extent that a person who is behind the press can pretty much get you in trouble without you even knowing it. They will stoop to that amount of lowness, and if you're not careful with your if you ever want to rise to fame, your words can get you in trouble. You know. So the only reason why I mentioned all that is because I was kind of against this guy coming up to her and forcing himself on her to have an interview.
Well, I didn't really get the impression that they were that aggressive.
He was being a little bit aggressive. She told him I don't do interviews, and he still insisted. That's aggressive.
Yes, he did, but I think he was more
And
respect.
his
I think he was more
cameraman kept telling him the same thing, that she doesn't do interviews.
but I
And
think
he was like, "But she'll do it for me. She'll do it for us."
I think he was
Well,
being more respectful than most of them are, and I think she saw that, and I think she understood how earnest he was in wanting to know the story. I think I don't think she looked at him as like a paparazzi because of his even though he was persistent, but because of his actions. I think that's why she gave in, even though he was a little persistent. You know.
well, possibly, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so we get this. If we want it summarized, she's basically tells the kind of the story of Rudolph Valentino, how he came from Italy, and how he started out as a kind of you know a lad on the on the streets, and he ended up starting to run with the wrong people. But he ran into a gigolo who kind of took him under his wing, which I believe the gigolo was played by none other than Franco Nero. And
Possibly. Let's see. Franco Nero. It says for him. It says Rudolph Valentino's spirit. I'm not sure what they mean by that.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was Franco Nero that he ran into, who was the gigolo. Because Franco Nero, I remember him in the original Django, which was a western where the actor played a character where he dragged a coffin into a western town, and nobody knew what was in his coffin, and then when it came for the right time, he took a cannon of gunfire out of the coffin and like killed like an entire army, and then the reason why this film is the way it is because they broke both of his arms for doing that.
Whoa.
Well, on screen, and well, it was a more bloody affair than people were used to. So, it spawned a series of Django films, just so you know. But the first one I know he was definitely in, and I think there was a second one he was in as well. He was a French actor who was in quite a few films back in the day.
Interesting.
But this gigolo, at first he doesn't want Rudolph to be part of his world because it's like he's on his last leggings and he wants out, and Rudolph is fascinated by his world and he wants him to teach him his ways. So he does.
Ooh, yeah.
And then, of course, we see a montage of ladies that that Rudolph is introduced to. And then, of course, he is at his first audition for The Sheik, which is apparently one of the productions that he's really well known for in the silent film.
Yes. I looked that up. The movies they mentioned Rudolph Valentino playing in. I think they were all real. That part seems to be true.
And the way the story is told, he goes in nervous as all hell, and he tells them his long ass name, and one of the people who was sitting there looking at him and his audition recognizes him, and he recognizes her because evidently he's boinked her before. He spoot out her before.
Spoot out.
At first he runs, and she goes after him, and she's like, "I don't care who you are. It's because of who you are that I think you should have the lead to this." And he's like, "But I know nothing about acting." And he's like, "Just be you. Just be you. I want that dirty boy I remember." So he does, and also she changes his name. His name then gets shortened to Rudolph Valentino.
Yes.
And not only did he take and portray the Sheik the way they want, the way that they wanted. He, like she said, women will want to look at him and want him. Uh, and it appears that when he took the screen, women basically had orgasms in their very seats when he was on the screen. I mean, did you see that, audience? Mostly it was of women, and they were going ooh ah and moaning to him. It was like,
Yes. Which honestly I think was a little exaggerated, but okay, maybe they really did like him that much.
well, I'm trying to understand how a silent film man can make most women salivate in their seats and leave
Right.
their seats wet
Yeah,
with
good
excitement.
question. Although I did hear that even in real life, Rudolph Valentino really was very popular among women. Now, if that was really to that extent as they portrayed it in the movie or not, I'm not sure.
Well, according to the lady in black here, she said that he was the world's first superstar. That he had quite a following in his silent film era,
Whew.
and I know he basically would go and party with Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford and they said something about the Geisha sisters and some other characters like Errol Flynn and some other silent film actors and actresses that were partying with the lady that had asked him to be the lead of the Sheik.
Indeed.
And also, I do believe Rudolph Valentino had some kind of affliction that he had. Tammy, do you remember what the
He had
affliction he had?
syphilis.
He had syphilis.
Yes, from a very young age, and the doctor said it would when he would kill him. The doctor said it would kill him slowly. Back then,
Yes.
they did not have a cure for it. They only had
Sorry.
medicine. They only had medicine that would help. Help them get through, type of thing, but nothing that would cure it.
Yeah, but that's another part I think was not based on true events. I looked it up after watching this movie, and some people speculated that Valentino died of syphilis, but I think it was never solidly proven that he even had it to begin with, at least as far as I found out.
Okay, so his death was kind of a mystery, so to speak, in real life.
I think in real life he died from some sort of infection after that surgery he had. I think it was similar to what was said in the movie. Let's find out. But what I was saying is, as far as we know, it's not true that he actually had syphilis in real life. Let's see. Death, where is it? Oh, legacy, funeral, death. Okay, let's see. Following an examination. Aha, okay. Surgery performed immediately. Optimistic about prognosis. Oh, he was stricken with a severe relapse of pleuritis, if I pronounce that correctly, which developed rapidly in his left lung due to his weakened condition. Uh, so yeah, it's the inflammation of the membranes that surround the lungs and line the chest cavity. So apparently
So
that's what
his
he died
the
from.
wall of his heart was very weak.
His heart was weak.
Well, the walls of his heart was weak. There was.
Oh,
It looks like he died to an unavailability of a blood transfusion, uh, or following a blood transfusion, which made the walls of his heart very weak. And so,
and
when the walls of his heart were very weak, he died shortly after that. And I guess that's kind of the mystery.
and where did you read that?
Pleurisy, Rudolph Valentino. Death followed an unavailing blood transfusion. An X-ray examination has revealed that pleurisy affected the walls of the heart.
Oh, I see. But
The word relapse. Let's see. But yeah, he ended up relapsing in an let's see, from the date when he was taken to a nursing home at the time. A He was practically besieged by telephone companies and newspapers. Women by hundreds brought flowers and prayed on the steps of the building where he was lying. But he died shortly thereafter.
oh yes, which is quite tragic actually.
But
Uh, that part is actually true that he died so young.
yep. So, anyways, as the film moves on, uh, the lady in black who was being interviewed basically lays claim to the fact that she was the nurse who was kind of nursing him back to health, and thought that his health was coming back to
Uh,
what.
yeah, that's not true, and neither was her final confession at the end true. But we will get into that later.
Well, yeah, because the true lady in black, her name is not even the name of this lady. So,
Yes, exactly.
but we do see some of Valentino's life, and we do see him looking at some of his childhood. It does seem like he does reminisce on some of his life, and so on and so forward. And I'll hand it back to you, my friend.
Uh, oh yeah, so we we got to see a little bit about his childhood, his relationship with his mother, who he seemed to miss a lot. There was this flashback of her helping him fall asleep or something like that, if I remember correctly. I think was she singing some song for him?
Yeah, she was also dancing with the the interviewer dude at one point in time too. Are you talking about the lady in black?
I thought we were talking about his mother.
Oh,
Yes,
she gave him a
Valentino's
house,
mother was
didn't she?
dancing around when she was telling him a story, and she was kind
A
of like
story,
acting,
yeah.
and she was kind of acting parts of it out. It seemed like, you know.
uh, yeah, and from what we found out, his mother died when he was in the United States, and by the time he was even notified about it, she was already buried, and he felt very bad about not even being able to, not even having attended the funeral since the mail took so long to arrive. There was no word about the father, from what I remember.
No, we didn't really get anything about the father really that much, did we?
Mm, I
I'm trying to
think we.
remember. I don't know if he left or if he was killed, or something. I don't remember.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
yeah, I don't remember from the movie either, but in real life, apparently, his father was a captain of cavalry in the Italian army and later a veterinarian. And he died of malaria when Valentino was 11 years old.
The lady could have said something about something to that effect in the interview. You know, I'm not sure.
Oh, possibly. Oh, and uh, what happens next? Did we cover the part of this older gigolo teaching him to dance and those things? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think we did, and how he got his first role and all that.
Yep.
So, where are we even?
Well, it kind of skips around. So I mean, the part about his mother and stuff only happens when the older Rudolph Valentine is reminiscing on in the theater, and 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 it seems like it goes back to memories of his mom. And I'm trying to remember because it seems like his mother went mad at one point in time.
Oh yes, where did you get that?
Well, when she was coming towards him under the bridge, do you remember?
But wasn't he just dreaming or imagining that?
Yeah, but it happened several times in the movie, so it made me think like I don't know why I thought that his mother went mad, but it might have been one of the reasons why he came to America.
Oh, what do you think, Tammy?
I don't think that's what happened. No, he wanted more. He wanted more than what where his little village could give him, and he thought that he could be more. That's why he left. He did not want to. He wasn't trying to hurt his mother or anything. He just wanted more than he felt that he could. That he felt that he could accomplish by staying in that where he was.
Yes, that's what I figured out. But Dave says that there was something in the movie indicating to the mother going insane, but I missed that somehow.
Well,
Somehow I missed it too. Then
for some reason, his mother's image coming towards the screen in black and white, or not black and white in color. I keep seeing
he kept
in my mind.
remembering his mother. He missed his mother.
Okay.
He was, he was. You're talking about when he's thinking about her walking on the beach and coming towards him.
Yeah, that.
That's what he's thinking of. And then
Okay,
when
well,
and then when he finally does die, he sees that image again, and it's kind of like them meeting up.
Okay.
This is how he. Yes. He's trying
That's
to picture.
what I remembered.
Right. He's trying to picture something beautiful about her. Since he was not there when she passed away, it was not there for the funeral.
To me, it wasn't beautiful. It was haunting.
Well, I'm beautiful in the sense that she looks happy. She
didn't
smiling.
even look happy.
She's walking.
She wasn't smiling.
She was smiling, and she was walking on the beach and coming towards him. So, he was just trying to think of her in a better light than because he was not there when she passed or at the funeral.
Well, I didn't get that because evidently my version of a smile is not an upside down one.
Okay.
But anyways, to me, she was walking along the beach, angry. I don't know. That's just me. That's just how I remember it. But yeah, we do have that. And then of course we have the cameraman leaving, saying "fuck this shit," and then the boom operator decides to come over and hand the director or interviewer another camera to finish the interview.
Yeah, the first guy apparently quit because the lady in black was apparently changing statements and not remember every single detail quite clearly.
Yep.
He felt that she wasn't being true, and the interviewer kept saying, well, she's like 90 years old, and he's like, yeah, but she keeps changing things, and he didn't like how she kept changing things. He felt that, she wasn't being true because of it,
Yeah.
Where the interviewer stuck up for her by saying her, she's this old, she's trying to remember things, she may not get every date right or this right or that right, so.
Yep. And then of course, while this is all going on, the gothic chick that's with them when she hears the romantic part of the tale, it seems like she's starting to feel something towards the director / interviewist, and of course, the director / interviewist is starting to remind, or has reminded, this lady of Rudolph Valentino since the very beginning, which is kind of why she agreed to the interview.
Yeah, for some reason he reminded her of him. I can't say I fully understood why.
I don't think it
Um,
was necessarily the looks. I think it was his demeanor. And no, because
Possibly.
Valentino was supposed to be able to, with his eyes and his demeanor, just capture people's attention and then capture the with women, especially, you know, be able to um
seduce a woman
yeah, I guess
from
that's
a
what you
distance.
might want to say. And um the lady, if you notice, definitely was looking into the interviewer's eyes and listening to him talk, and I think she became enthralled with him because he reminded her of Valentino because of his how he looked at her and how he talked to her and everything. So I think, yeah, she tried to associate the two together.
Yes.
Yes. And so I guess they finish up the interview and the place closes down. And she ends up going back to her place. And she ends up having a dream, which I'm not sure if it showed us the dream, but when she woke up from this so-called dream, she immediately um, calls the interviewer back, and she meets up with him, and she's singing a song when he first gets to the table, and I guess it's not too far from closing, but he said he was meeting someone there anyways. So he meets
She
up
was
with
singing
her.
"Are You Lonesome Tonight" by Elvis Presley.
Correct.
Oh, yes. Yes, I must say I was quite surprised to hear Elvis Presley's music here, and I really liked it. He is actually one of my favorites from that time period.
But yeah, he meets up with her, and she basically tells him, "You know what? Don't make that recording public because most of it is untrue. Um, the only thing that is true is that I was in fact there in the room when they brought Mr. Rudolph in. I was his number one fan, and I was there a lot during some of his time that he was here on Earth, and I collected many memorabilia that involved him. And he may not have ever known it, but he was the love of my life. You know.
uh, yes, which, like I said, is not
So,
the true story, but I must say this is a story I would find quite compelling and emotional, and from some periods of my life, kind of relatable, but it's not what really happened.
well, no, but we definitely get the fact that it's kind of a love story, even if it's from afar. A
Yes.
I would have to say a harmless story because I think that initially is the reason why she said yes to the interview is because she wanted, she felt the attention and she wanted she wanted to feel important, you know. And I think she told the story in order to garner attention. I mean, nobody ever showed her that much respect or showed her the time that time of day, and that's what the interviewer actually gave her. He acted like he gave a shit, you know. And I think
Yes.
that's why she ended up telling him all those things that she did, and why she was so honest with him in the end, you know. She and then of course in the end credits we have a reporter saying that she died, you know.
Uh,
And
yes,
when
at
she
least.
died, oh, and when she died, they found memorabilia. The whole place was packed,
Yep,
full of memorabilia about
Rudolph
Valentino. You know.
Valentino, and
Uh,
most of it was donated to museums and charities and whatnot. So
Actually, I think that part is somewhat based on the truth, but yeah, here they did something kind of weird. They said early in the movie they said her name was Helen, and at the end they said her name. They said her full name, which was Helen. What did they? How did they say it? Let's try to find out. Helen, yeah, Helen Luella Crawford, which is actually the real name of the actress Terry Moore who played her in this movie. So I don't know if they were trying to imply that the real Terry Moore was the real Lady in Black, which is far from the truth. Uh, so yeah, but there actually was something. The identity of the real Lady in Black was discovered when her belongings were found. I think, if I understood that article, I read correctly.
the
At
original
some,
Lady in Black was supposedly Dietra Flame,
uh,
also
the,
known as Princess Orvela Wilson.
yes, 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 that was her.
She became known for her annual visits to the crypt, leaving a single rose on August 23rd, the anniversary of Valentino's death. Flame met Valentino when she was a young girl and had a long lasting friendship with him, which inspired her devotion to his memory. So there was really no romantic aspect,
oh
to
yeah,
be fair and honest, as was suggested in here by the camera people or whatnot to her.
yeah, it wasn't romantic, but
Flame was a professional musician and violinist and met Valentino, like I said, when she was a child. He visited her in the hospital and promised her a rose for a miracle if she passed away. He would visit her grave daily with roses. She, in turn, promised to do the same for him.
yes,
But
uh,
and Dietrich Flame passed away in 1984 at the age of 78, the year that I was born. But she stopped going after a while because there were so many women who would portray the lady in black to the grave. It was it became too crowded for her to do so. But
apparently so.
in any case, back to the movie. So where
Oh,
are we?
Oh, yeah. Well, we we are kind of near the end, or did we skip anything?
I don't think we really skipped anything. Not really. No. So I believe we are at the end. So let's look at production. I think we kind of
Oh,
went over it somewhat
oh yes,
over
yes, I
time
think we did.
because when you mentioned the clothing and the cars and definitely they got the period right, Tammy? They got
Huh.
the period and the dress right, Tammy.
What?
They got the period of the time right, and they got the
Oh
way the
yeah,
people
they most
dressed.
definitely. I really like the automobiles too. I think they did a good job on that.
Okay.
Indeed. And interestingly enough, there was this effect when at the beginning when she was leaving Red Rose at the grave. The whole scene was in black and white. Only the rose was red. Did that remind you of anything we recently discussed?
Oh, the red rose.
No, not the rose itself, but
The red. He's talking about a black and white with just the red showing up for the rose, just like in the Tingler, the red showed
yes,
up.
Oh,
yes,
yes.
yes. Uh, Even though this was a much nicer scene from uh, what there was in the Tingler, but still a similar effect. I mean,
Okay. So I think there was definitely quite a little bit of music, but I was trying to figure out what music was there, and IMDb didn't really list some of it. Didn't we find out one of the names of the songs, Tammy?
uh, one was "Are You Lonesome Tonight" by Elvis Presley.
Yep.
And then, if I fall in love again,
If I Fall in Love Again.
by Nat King Cole, wasn't it?
Um, was it?
I thought that's what we looked up.
Okay. Um, but yeah, there were other songs that were there, but IMDb did not list them. And again, this was a movie that was filmed 2 years ago, so um, it. I don't even think it has a physical release. I don't think it's streaming anywhere at the moment. So
Uh, yeah, like I said before, it actually was quite difficult to find.
but like I said, it's rare to find a movie from another country that is able to have a dub from either language. So when they do, it really means that they put the money aside to do so. Otherwise, we would just have a subtitled film in Russian. you know,
Possibly, yeah.
but in any case, let's talk about favorite scenes and our favorite characters.
Uh, okay, who would like to be the first?
Ladies first.
Ooh, fair enough. Let's hear you, Tammy.
I don't really know what to say. That's all.
Did you not have a favorite? Did you not have a favorite scene and or favorite character?
Well, my favorite character was the lady. Um, Even though she wasn't really the one that she was portraying that she was, I enjoyed her story. So, um,
Her lavish imagination.
yeah. But it wasn't all imagination. She just wasn't. She wasn't the nurse that she was trying to say that she was. But she did.
She
She,
imagined the story as if she was imagining it through the eyes of that nurse that she
correct.
really wished that she was.
Right. But that doesn't mean everything that she said was wrong. But she admits that she didn't know all the facts. The whole thing is, I liked her story. I liked how she told the story. Okay. Um. Geez, I don't. The way this movie is, it's just kind of hard for me to kind of like pick a favorite scene.
You could always choose the whole thing if you really wanted to. If you like the whole thing as a whole, then I guess that's your favorite scene.
Yeah, I did like it, even though
Okay.
we all agreed. I think that it kind of was slow in parts. I still did like it a lot.
Okay. Then let's leave it at that. Heading over to you.
My favorite character was also the lady in black, and my favorite scene was near the end when she was making her confession to this reporter or whatever that guy was who was interviewing her.
They were doing
When,
a supposedly documentary.
yeah. So when she confessed that she actually wasn't involved with Valentino as a nurse, but that she knew all that because she was such a dedicated fan and actually had feelings for Valentino just based on the things she knew about him without actually knowing him in person. Even though, like I said, even though it bothers me that they made that story up, that it's not the real story of the lady in black, I found the story quite emotional because situations like that exist in real life, and I could imagine how she felt, at least this movie version of her. So uh, I think that would be my favorite scene.
Okay, and I guess my favorite scene, if I had to say anything about it, was when Franco Nero's character, if that was Franco Nero, which I fully believe that it was teaching Valentino how to seduce the ladies. Uh, yeah. The and my favorite character was definitely the lady in black, but I also got a kick out of the gigolo guy too.
Ooh, fair enough.
I mean, the fact that he passed around this card that told him he was a marquess or a marquis.
Right.
I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go,
David is pronounced gigolo, not gigolo.
Actually, Louis Prima calls it gigolo.
Okay.
I'm just a gigolo. I'm just a gigolo. Yep. But anyways. Alrighty. Well, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen that are out there have enjoyed our discussion about this film. Like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully you got... is it your turn next, Tammy?
Yes.
Ooh, it should be.
Have you chosen which one to be next?
Well, it's summertime now. Let's talk about fish. How about let's go see Jaws?
Alrighty. I guess.
Tammy's choosing a
Boris,
horror movie is not possible.
it is a horror movie. From it's the original Jaws.
Fair enough.
And I'm telling you, Boris, you're gonna need a bigger boat. In any case, like, share, subscribe, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
And stay out of the water.
Yep. On that note, everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Septum Sin versus the world. It's that place for all the boys and girls. You'll feel real safe, you'll feel real warm. It's a cozy place to ride out the storm. Septum Sin. Septum Sin and his best boy Jake see the trends that scare us every day. Physical media is going to the side. Doctor streaming